So 2025 started out, and I was like, this year must be my year. 2025 is going to be my year. I'm going to grind and I'm going to do everything seriously and finally become successful and do this and do this and do this. Then January comes around, first month of the year, everybody creates New Year's resolutions. Definitely created mine, and I actually did fairly well January. Then February comes and I completely fall off. Then March, then April, then May. And before I knew it, I was deep in a rut. Like I was very, very, very deep in a rut. It was very difficult to come out, maybe sometimes a few days or maybe a few weeks, maybe about a week or two max. I might come out, do a little bit of grind work. Before I know, fall right back in. Busy doing bad habits, just watching random shit on YouTube, procrastinating, not really doing, serious work, not really doing things that will move me forward. And it was bad. And I started to wonder, like, why can't I get out of this rut? And I'll be like, okay, I'm going to start grinding from tomorrow. Then tomorrow will come around and I'll just do the exact same thing I did yesterday, which is just, jerk off, watch random YouTube videos, eat junk food, and all that. And I continued living like this till eventually I fell sick sometime last week. And that was when I actually started to really reflect that, wow, 5 months has gone by, or there's almost 6 months, because we're about to enter June already very soon. And I've still made no progress. Like, I've literally done nothing. So I want to tell you some advice on how I'm getting out of this rut, like how I'm planning of getting out of this rut, slash how things I'm doing to get out of this rut. Because I realize that a rut is something that happens to a lot of people, because we think when we start our self-improvement journey, or just our goal achieving journey rather, like you expect it to be like an upward trend. So you start and you just continue and continue and continue. But usually you start, then you stop, then you start, then you slack off, then you start, then you just reset for like weeks, days, weeks, months, and you continue again. So it's like a very messy process, like that health thing that is like reading people's health. It's not just straight; it's like always up and down, up and down. So that's how it is usually for making progress in most things. So, but what I noticed is few ways I've noticed to really get out of rut. The very, 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 very first thing is you have to set the bar so, so low. So the problem with me and a lot of people is like before they fell into that rut, they were doing extraordinary, like they were doing good. They're actually doing impressive things that the average person doesn't do. Like I remember around January, I was actually exercising. So there was this I don't even know what you call it. Is it barbell or dumbbell thing we had now, like our students accommodation there. And I was lifting it like every day, doing different sets of workouts. I was lifting, like I was doing good basically. Like I was actually productive. I was uploading videos on my channel weekly, trying to keep up, doing this one, doing this one. Like I was actually doing fairly well. So I'm in this rut now, and my mindset is okay to get out, to get back on the grind. I have to just continue from where I stopped. So if I have to do workouts similar to when I was doing, I have to upload similar to when I was uploading. I have to, read for like study similar to when I was doing all that. But the problem is I just can't. Because it's easy, when you're at that moment sitting down, maybe after you have just finished beating your meat or something, and sitting down there thinking to yourself, I'm wasting my life, it's time to get back on the grind. It's easy for you to think, okay, yes, I'm going to do all these 50 things. Then when the next day comes around, or later that day, or the time to actually act comes around, that mountain is so big that you'll just be like, now I'd rather just be in this rut. So like I'd rather just sit out here and do nothing. And that's what happened to me over and over and over and over again. And during this period of the rut, those few times when I managed to climb out, I actually noticed that this is actually what made me climb out. Like I set the bar so low for myself that it's like instead of saying, I'll do, let's say, 1 hour worth of workouts, I'll just be like, I'll literally do 30 seconds worth of workouts. And 30 seconds worth of workout could just be like maybe stretching or two push ups, or even just maybe standing up and walking around, that type of stuff. Like to me, that I'll just count that as workouts and just do it like that for maybe like a week or two. Then increase the intensity a little bit, do it like that again, increase intensity. Same thing for studying. Instead of saying, oh, I'll study, 50 hours. If you remember, I said I'll just study 30 seconds, then 1 minute, then 2 minutes, then 5 minutes, and 20 minutes. I think I reached about 20 minutes before and I fell back down the hole again. But the point being, I don't think it has ever really worked out for me to be like just be zero. Like basically, sometimes it does. Sometimes I'm able to just snap and get right, like propel the progress. But a lot of time it doesn't really work like that. Like 9 out of 10 times, yeah, I'll fall back down into the hole. So the advice here for you is like when you are in a rut, you don't want to just wake up the next day and want to do 5,000 push-ups and study for 12 hours a day. Then if it's your business work, grind for like 16 hours or whatever. Like you want to set the bare minimum for yourself. So there's this fan in our room, like supposed to like ventilate and stuff, but the fan is bad. So basically, when you turn on this fan, the blades don't spin, like they move very very slow. The fan is faulty, we should get it fixed or not. But the point I'm trying to make is, for the first like maybe 5 minutes, it almost looks as if the fan is not spinning. It's spinning, but it's very 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 slow. That it barely looks as if it's like you have to pay very close attention to it before you notice the blades are moving. But after that 5 minutes, after I don't know, it has gathered enough momentum, the blades spin a little faster, then a little faster, then it starts to spin very fast. Like the transition from it spinning very, very slow to very fast is, very short. And that's the point, because another mistake I made is trying to do too much too fast. So maybe I'll start out, very small, like just bare minimum. Then the next week I want to go back to, the top 12 hours a day, 2 hours workout, all those type of stuff. Then obviously I'll fall back down with the whole. So it's okay to stay at that bare minimum for 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. But when you finally make that transition from the bare minimum to like the serious, like back to the main grind, like it's going to be very very fast and seamless, and you're going to be able to keep up with it because you have been building up that momentum on this well. So summary of this point is, don't try to do too much too fast. Don't try to overload yourself. Set the bare minimum. If you are trying to stop fapping, if you're trying to you know stop spending too much time on your phone, you're trying to finally get serious on your business work, you're trying to be being consistent, you're trying to actually study for the exam that's upcoming, rather than just sitting around doing nothing. Like, you have to set the bare minimum and do it for as consistently as possible. You don't need to feel this urge like I used to feel, like, okay, from next week it should be double this, and next week it should, the week after that it should be 20x this. Like, it can be that same pace, maybe a little more, or even exactly the same for like literally a month straight. Obviously depending on the situation you're in, depending on how fast you need those results. But on average, for most things, most situations, it can just be like that for like a long time. So basically, you start bare minimum, very slow, then just because the work here you're actually doing is to just show up. Then when you start to show up, you start to build this confidence in yourself again, you start to build this momentum in yourself again, you start to build this routine, you start to build these habits. And before you know it, becomes easier to double the efforts, it becomes easier to triple the efforts. So the next thing you can do now, and this is another important one, is to plan and have intention. The like one mistake I used to make a lot is just having vague goals. So like, oh, I want to start making money. I want to finally make it on YouTube. I want to, study 12 hours a day. Like, I want to pass my exam basically. And these are all good things, but it's just that they are very vague goals, because what does making money on YouTube mean? What does, passing your exam mean? Like, basically, when you just make it vague like that and you don't put it in an actionable way, you don't put it in systems, the goal doesn't, like, you don't, it's harder to achieve the goals. Like, you have to set the intention for it and actually know who exactly what and when you're going to do it. So the best way, or one of the best ways to do this, is to have like a timetable type of stuff. So the timetable system is like, basically every single hour of the day, you like map out the day. So how I like to do this with pen and paper. Write out all the hours, then assign different tasks to those hours. So it can be like 6 a.m. wake up, 6 a.m. to 6:30 morning routine, and 6:30 to 7 a.m. Or 6:30 to maybe 9 a.m. house chores, and 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. get shower and get ready. 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock. You can do maybe deep work, for example, things like that. Like, I want to have that system because it's easier to actually do something when you know what and where you're going to do. Because if the idea is just vague, like, okay, I want to start working out, I need to start working out, I need to be consistent. It's like you're not really going to make that much progress. You don't really go far, at least from my experience. There's this thing I heard which is just 100% true. The day you meditate is like if I meditate today, I knew I was going to already meditate from tomorrow. Like you actually meditate tomorrow when you plan it out from today, not tomorrow. Because that's one mistake I used to make. I'll just wake up in the morning and be like, let's see how the day goes. If you do it like that, I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 days, zero. Like you barely get anything done. You actually know, like you actually get things done when the day before you map out every single thing. And other than just mapping it out, the other most important part here is the intention. You don't just write it and forget about it. You don't just do it and just chill. You actually set the intention that you are going to do this thing. You actually set the intention that you are going to actually do what you said you have done. And that's part of the reason why, setting the bare minimum is also crucial in this, because if you set too much, you won't really do much. But basically, like, it's that simple. Like, it's usually that simple. Set, like, you want to meditate, you want to, spend less time on your phone, you want to, I don't know, make the YouTube videos, or, do the business work or whatever thing you want to do. Like, you set those intentions from today. Those things you want to do tomorrow, you do them from today, not tomorrow. Like, there are a million other things you can do. Another third thing, again, that I noticed to get out of your health is to manipulate your environment, because a lot of times the environment kind of plays a role. Like, sometimes when I look at my life and be like, wow, this period of my life I was so driven, I was so grinding like crazy. Like, why is it that then it was so easy to just be productive and now it's 10 times harder? And I noticed that a lot of it is environment as well. Because if environment and people, because I noticed that so on those times I grinded in my life, a good example I'll give you, sometime last year, so around December, sometime last year, me and my other brother, he's like, we are both entrepreneur minded, but my other brother is, I'll say, a lot more entrepreneur slash action minded, if that makes any sense. So basically, we, like, in our former hostel in school. So now, before we graduated, we lived in like an apartment place. So, but before we got to that apartment place, we were staying in like the hostel for like the first year, 2 years or so of our school life. So basically, my brother basically is an entrepreneur. I went back to the hostel, then he set up like this game shop thing. So basically, like, he has a PS3, which is kind of embarrassing to say, 2075. But the point being, every night, like, he used to do it every day before, but every night basically, we'll go there, set up the game and stuff. People will come and play, then they'll pay us to play, then go back home. A very good business model. But the problem for me was, he like hired me. Obviously, like, I said no, but I was broke, so obviously I needed money. So I said yes. So I went there, and it was like night shift I was doing, if that makes sense. So every day, because first of all, what our daily lives and things we're doing, and also, like, it's in the hostel, it's usually like people will come a lot more, except Saturdays during night time, because everybody has come back from classes and stuff. They are just coming to chill and rest and all that. So from around, like, let's say 7 8 p.m. till around 10 11 12 p.m., that's when I'll run it. So even though I just did it for about a week though, because the next week exam started and I didn't really have time, and I was also feeling miserable as shit when I was doing it. But the point just being that every day, 7 p.m. till, on average, 10 11 12 p.m. every single day, sometimes 1 a.m. self, I say 12 p.m. 12 a.m. 1 a.m. self, sometimes every single day I was there. And the thing is that I did not enjoy being there, because first of all, I'm an introvert. Like, it was just basically out of my comfort zone. Usually I don't like walking in the night. I don't even know if that's something I should still believe in, but usually I just feel like if you have work to do, you should do it during the day. The night is for rest. So that, like, me having to stay up all night, I already didn't like it. Then also I have to go to this hostel. This our hostel is kind of like trenches place. Then other than just doing those stuff, I have to now talk to people, because people will come and play, then they will ask me questions, which accounts will they transfer. Like, I have to make sure they pay and monitor them and ask them questions. So like, I wasn't having a fun time basically. It was still a nice experience. I'm still glad I did it though, but in the moment it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun basically. But the thing is that, as miserable as I was, every single day for the period I did it, I would still go. 7 p.m. would come no matter what I was doing. I had to leave it, come home, carry the game, walk to the hostel, meet the guy holding the TV, collect it from him, set everything up, stay there, wait for people to show up, answer stupid questions, collect the money, they'll transfer it to my brother's account. Like just I had to do that every single day, no matter what. And it was like very consistently. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then I thought to myself that why is it that for this that I don't even like I literally don't want to be here. I'd rather just be sleeping or watching YouTube or doing something else right now than be here. But yet I'm still showing up super consistently. Then I realized that one of the reasons for this, or a part of the reason for this, is environmental factors. Environmental factors play a big role in it. Like if I was not, first of all, is accountability, people holding you accountable. If nobody was holding me accountable, if my brother wasn't there, if my brother wasn't like in charge and said I have to go there every day if you want to get paid, I wouldn't be going there. I would not be going there. So like because there was an external factor, all of a sudden I was willing to endure more stress and pain and suffering and all that. Secondly, also the environment. Like this was not my comfy bedroom. This was not my cozy place. This was like I didn't know anybody here. So like I could not chill. I could not feel relaxed. Like I had to kind of stay at alert. I had to like be vigilant. Like I had to walk, basically. So the point I'm just trying to make from this analogy is that environment plays a very important role. Sometimes when you want to get out of a rut, one of the fastest or just achieve your goals or do something, one of the fastest ways, fastest cheat codes is just change your environment, change your circumstance. Like for example, if you want to work out, but you find it difficult to, work out consistently, get a body. Like obviously it's easy to say, but harder to do. But if you can find a friend who is working out consistently as well, I'm telling you, is like high chance your workout productivity, like your workout level is going to 10x. And also not just only a friend, if you can find yourself in an environment. So for example, if you are living by yourself in an apartment, right? And you're trying to work out but it's not working out. If you go to something like a dorm room, like boys hostel, boys quarters, and all the boys there are now, they don't just play video games or whatever. They all go to the gym, they all work out, they're all jacked. Very, very, very high chance you start working as consistency. It's like the environment will kind of mold you, the environment will manipulate you, and it's something I noticed that is very, very true for a lot of us. Like environment plays a very, very, very important role for almost everything in our lives, basically. Like a lot of us. It's that when you find yourself in a new environment and you see how this environment does, like you kind of can't help but mold yourself to that environment. Like if you go to your, let's say, friend's place, for example, and your friend maybe lives with two or three other roommates and you spend like a few days or a few weeks with them, and for that period, all they do is they wake up, they scroll on their phone, they play video games, they jerk off, they bring girls over, fuck, that they just do basically basic shit like how the average person lives nowadays. You most likely will live like that as well. You most likely will join them when they are playing video games in the evening. You join them when they are talking randomly, just having chit chats here and there. You might most likely will join them. But vice versa, if you go to visit your friend and those 2 weeks, every single day, obviously they will still like talk to each other and have a little bit of fun. But for the most part, they are locked in, they are grinding, they wake up every like 6 a.m. When you finally wake up, you see somebody's already outside doing push-ups, see somebody sitting down already doing work, you do that. That's how they just live. Very, very high chance your behavior will start to mold to that as well. So basic summary is just like environments is very, very important. Environments really influence you. So 3 ways to get out of your ruts. In summary, first of all, set the bar so low. You want to get rid of this ego idea that oh, before I fell off, I used to do 500 push-ups. I used to do 12 hours of work every day. So I'm just going to continue from there. Like you just want to realize like you have lost progress, you have leveled down. So you have to kind of meet yourself at your level. Set the bar so low for yourself so that it will be very easy to stay with it. Second thing is plan out your day. Like know exactly what and when you are going to do, because like I said, you meditate tomorrow, you work out tomorrow, you do the business work tomorrow, you study tomorrow when you have planned it out from today. You don't study today when you plan it today. If you plan it today, you most likely will not study today. You have to plan it from yesterday and plan it to the T, like with details. That's when you study. Then lastly, try and change your environment slash people around you. Like if you can find somebody to keep you accountable, if you can put yourself in a place where people are trying to achieve, like people have the results while also working towards the thing you're trying to achieve, becomes 10 times easier to get out of your ruts. and stay on the path. Anyways, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.